Yeah, I'll try again. I was just streaming onto Facebook, not onto YouTube. Probably a big mistake on my part, but I was literally just sitting here, guys, getting ready for a match preview that I was going to record ahead of the Everton game, and I'm in lots of YouTube groups and whatever, and a lot of them are centered around West Ham United, and it's been flashed up on my one of my groups, just two words: Potter gone. And I was like, seriously? So, sort of like you hear lots of things on groups and whatever else. And I've literally just gone on the club website, and this is as of 13 minutes ago. So it's 10:41 right now. And it reads as follows: West Ham United can confirm that head coach Graham Potter has left the club. Results and performances over the course of the second half of last season and the start of the 25-26 season have not matched expectations, and the board of directors believe that a change is necessary in order to help improve the team's position in the Premier League as soon as possible. The club can confirm that assistant coach Bruno Saltor, first team coaches Billy Reid and Narcis Pelach, lead goalkeeper coach Kasper Ankergren, and goalkeeper coach Linus Kadalin have also left with immediate effect. The board would like to thank Graham and his coaching staff for their hard work during their time with the Hammers and wish them every success in the future. The process of appointing a replacement is underway, and the club will be making no further comment at this time. I mean, what do you make of that, people? I mean, he did the post-match or the pre-match press conference yesterday, and obviously I've done a little bit on it where I've condensed it down into more a sort of more condensed version, and he's gone. And look, I'm not surprised that he's gone. What I guess what I'm probably surprised about is the timing of it. We've had since the end of the game against Crystal Palace, when I think most people felt that in the wake of that he was gone. In fact, I actually bumped into Stell in the supporters club after the game, and Stell's quite a balanced guy, I think, in the realms of West Ham supporters and West Ham YouTube and all the rest of it. He's quite a sort of an even-tempered guy, but even he turned around and went, he's gone. He has to go after this. So I'm really surprised that being Saturday, and now here we are 7 days later with a game in 2 days, the coach would have been working on an awful lot on the pitch in terms of how to face Everton and what we're going to have to deal with and all of the bits and pieces around it. And it just strikes me as really strange timing. The decision is what the decision is. And I think it's the decision that probably most of us know was coming and are probably on board with. But I just sit there and go, you've had 7 days to deal with this. Surely you must have known. Because look, they've had conversations with Nuno. We know they've had conversations with Nuno. We also believe there have been little tentative conversations with Slaven Bilic. So why have you left it this long? It just, I can't work it out, guys. I really can't work it out. As I say, I think it's the right decision. I think it's come at the wrong time. They needed to make that call Saturday, Sunday, something like that, to give whoever is going to come in for the Everton game. And I suspect there might be. I'm guessing it's probably going to be some of the coaches from the academy. So whether that's going to be a Kevin Keane, a Mark Robson, a Mark Phillips, I'm not saying necessarily one of them individually taking sole responsibility. It will probably be something of a collaborative effort. There will be a face, if you will, of the group that will be pre and post match. They'll be having interviews and stuff like that. I'm quite sure of that. But it's just like, yeah, I just can't work it out. Can't work out the timing of it. It just seems to be, guys, get your comments in. Get your comments in, and we'll try and drill down into it. And if you're new around here, 2 rules. Please do put a like on the stream, and if you have a spare hype, then maybe sort of pop that into the pot, because I believe that helps get this out there to places it otherwise won't get. And share this on your social media platforms, and subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification. Thanks very much. Yeah, so Max, it is real. As I say, I'll tell you what I'll do. If anyone is not sort of sure that this is on the level and I'm talking a load of old crap, let me just press a few buttons and I will share my screen. And this is the West Ham United webpage. There it is. And this was, and if I refresh it, okay. So there it is. This is now 17 minutes ago. So it's 10:45. This is 17 minutes ago. And that there is the club statement. I've just read it. You can read it for yourself. Graham Potter, his tenure as West Ham manager after 25 matches and 6 wins is over. And as I say, I just can't, I completely agree with the decision. Let me get it out there. It's sad. Hold on. Am I back? There we go. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. For some reason, my internet's dropped out. I'm going to blame my wife because she turned on the tumble dryer. It's all her fault. Yeah, guys, this, as I say, I don't disagree with the decision that's been reached upon, and it would appear that the club have made the decision. I don't think Graham Potter's walked away because, quite frankly, Premier League managers don't tend to walk away from their contracts. He didn't walk away from his Chelsea contract. I don't expect he walked away from this. So I really do think, oh, hang on, the internet's come back now. So I'm going to try and sort of go back through my PC. So hang on. There we go. There we go. There we go. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with the decision. Hang on. I got it coming through my phone now. So let me just turn that off. Chuck that over there. I can still hear myself. This is what happens when you're live streaming, guys, and your internet starts dicking around. Hang on. Does that work? There we go. Yeah, as I say, this is not scripted. I didn't know this was coming. As I say, I was getting ready for the match preview. I'm going to have to redo the thumbnail. I've done a thumbnail, guys. I'll tell you what, I might as well show it to you now. I may as well show it to you now. Hang on. Let me press that button. I might as well. I've been beavering away getting this thumbnail ready because I thought to myself, I wanted to jazz up the thumbnail a bit and make it stand out a little bit more. And I was working really hard this morning, and this was the thumbnail that I did. It's now redundant. It's now completely redundant. It's got Graham Potter there, must-win game. He's not there anymore. I'm going to have to dump this in the bin now. I've been working so hard on it this morning. I'm heartbroken. Well, maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration on my part. Heartbroken's probably a little bit much. But as I say, the timing just seems a little bit peculiar to me. I don't understand why this decision wasn't reached immediately after the Crystal Palace game. Everybody thought that he was gone after that, and I don't understand why it's taken 7 days. Why it has taken 7 days. It is the right decision, but it's 7 days too late. 7 days too late. The first team would have been working on strategies, on plans, and all the rest of it. And now the entire coaching staff, Graham Potter and all of his underlings, so Billy Reid, Casper Ankergren, in that statement, as I say, let me share it again just in case, like I say, there's still people that think this is a load of old crap and that I'm making stuff up. There it is. That's the club statement. They've all gone. All of the coaching staff that were working on stuff in the league have all gone. So yeah, I don't know what to make of it. Don't know what to make of it. But yes, Max, it is real. Let's have a look at some comments, guys. Get your comments in. As I say, it's look, Hammer 89. Yes, in terms of the results, he needed to go. I always feel a little. I never want managers to get sacked, and especially when they're our managers fundamentally. But it's a results-based industry. He even gave the press conference yesterday, and the moment he gave the press conference, I'm thinking, well, he's not going to get sacked now. Surely he will take this game. And there were rumours that he would even get the Arsenal game. I don't understand it. I don't understand the timing. How you doing, Walshy? Who's next? To be honest, yeah, we'll wait and see. Marco Silva would be a good shout. I don't understand why, and I did a video on this earlier, why we've got 2 billionaire owners. I think their combined net worth is just under £9 billion. They value the club at £800 million conservatively. We get £180 million in revenue per year conservatively from being a Premier League club. And £8.6 million is what it would take to get Marco Silva out of Fulham. I'm hearing that they want to wait until the end of the season, get him for nothing. Well, by the time that comes around, guys, I hate to tell you, we might be a second-tier club, and Marco Silva ain't coming to us in the Championship. Yep, all of his staff, Rob, all of his staff, it's on the club website. I've got it there, so if anybody wants to push back and say that I'm talking a load of old nonsense, I mean, I've seen there's been other YouTube channels that have since fired up with this. I mean, like I say, I was literally sitting here prepping for the pre-match, our preview, which I was planning to do at 11:30 with my brother. I've got the thumbnail ready, like I say, worked very hard on it, and I'm now going to have to chuck this thumbnail in the bin and start all over again. Brilliant. Fantastic. That's the world of YouTube. That is the world of YouTube. Let's have a look. Some more comments. Morning, Sean. Hope you are well. Yes, he's all gone. Why give him exactly that, David? I can't work it out. Makes no sense to me. He did the pre-match interview, but more pertinently, he has done all of the training on the Rush Green training facility. You know, how we're going to defend corners, because that's worked so well this season. How we're going to defend free kicks, how we're going to attack them, you know, where are their strengths, where are their weaknesses. We would have gone through all of that, and now he's gone. It's the right decision. It's the wrong time. Hammer 89 reckons it's a Kretinsky move. Possible. Always possible. Yeah, I agree, Max. It's absolutely. It's not an incredible decision, because I think the decision was always. It was like Thanos. It's inevitable. That decision was inevitable. He was going to go, but it's the timing. Yeah, absolutely, Walshy. Useless. I'm not going to say he was useless, but what I will say, I just don't think he fitted. I don't think he fitted with the club. I don't think he was. I think the Chelsea gig probably took a lot out of him. I think that I'm now beginning to understand David Sullivan's reluctance and the narrative that he believes that Graham Potter was served well by the framework that was around him when he was the manager of Brighton and Hove Albion, and that probably he looked better than he actually was as a result of that support network. I know that Chelsea was a bit of a basket case when he went there, and that was probably the reason why most people thought he failed. I'm now beginning to wonder whether it was quite as simple as that. I think there might have been a bit more to it than that. I think he's probably, truthfully be told, I think the stature of the club that Brighton were when he walked in, not what they are now because they're bigger, but I think the stature of what Brighton were as a club when he walked in, that's his level. That is his level. He's bottom part of the Premier League, top end of the Championship. That's probably his level, in my opinion. That was right out of the brew, says Roy. Bloody hell, not good timing, but needed. Yeah, exactly that, Roy. It's the timing I have a problem with. It is massively the timing I have a problem with. Like I say, for the reasons I've explained, we would have worked on strategies and all the rest of it. And whether they would have worked and whether they wouldn't have done, we will now never know. The timing is incredible. Watch us win at Everton on Monday. It'd be very interesting to see who we get in. As I say, I suspect unless, is it that they've now agreed a deal with Nuno? I don't think it's going to be Marco Silva. I think it will be the tried and tested formula, according to David Sullivan, of basically getting a knackered, broken, unemployed, out of work manager who will be grateful for the opportunity. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to hear within the next 24 hours. I would not be shocked if Nuno is announced as the manager. Now, whether he's in the dugout for the Everton game or whether he goes there on a watching brief and we have people that are manning the fort in the meantime, like I say, Kevin Keane, Mark Noble, Mark Robson, Kenny Brown, Mark Phillips, take your pick. I think that I don't know. I think it's probably Nuno incoming. Hey, Pierre, how you doing? Well, yeah, timing is absolutely baffling, Sean. Absolutely baffling. That, mate, I would not trust him to be a caretaker of anything, quite honestly. Who do I want? Do you know what? It's one of those, Hammer 89. If you're asking me who I would want, if I go down the route of forget what David Sullivan would normally do and employ out of work managers, if I open it up to managers who are in work, I think Marco Silva would be a decent bet. I think he would be a decent bet. I mean, look, what would we reasonably expect to get that is significantly better than Marco Silva, right? This is a manager who has been round the block in the Premier League. He's managed to get Fulham, who are a decent club, but let's have it right. West Ham are a bigger club than Fulham are. That's just a fact. And he's got multiple top 10 finishes with them. So I think he'd be a great choice myself. If I was to think a little bit more outside the box, there are two names that come to mind, and neither of them have Premier League experience, and both of them, I believe, are currently out of work. One is Xavi and one is Thiago Motta. Now, that would be a risk, but sometimes in life you got to take risks. And I think that the stature that those two managers, do you know, when you sort of like you get someone walk in and they've just got that aura about them, that gravitas because of what they've done in the game, I think they would come into the dressing room and straight away they would command that sort of respect. And that's kind of what I think Graham Potter lacked. I don't think that when he walks into a room, I don't think, you know, there's some people in life where when they walk into the room, everybody turns their head and everybody sort of like pays attention. I think Graham Potter would walk in the room and no one would notice. No one would notice. And I think that was his problem. Absolutely, Sid. Absolute circus. Like I say, the timing is horrendous. Something has popped. It could be, Dick. It could be. I think that I just don't see how it's gone 7 days from the Palace result. He's clearly drilled into the team and probably, I mean, what? The game's on Monday. So I don't know. Would the last training session have been tomorrow? Perhaps. They've done most of the work. and you're getting rid of them. Like I say, right decision, wrong time, 100%. Exactly, Andy. The club's incompetence in this is absolutely shocking. Shocking. How you doing, Harry? Hope you are well. That's probably the bit where I dropped out. My internet cocked up. Fremmer, like I say, I'm going to blame my missus. I reckon she was probably put out. I saw it come up. Graham Potter's been sacked, and I thought, I've got to go live with this. I can't sit on this. This is breaking news, and I'm right at me PC. So I started waffling away. She's put the tumble dryer on, and then with that, it went wrong. So that is what sometimes happens with doing live streams and YouTubing. You can't edit this. It's once it's live. See, I can do all sorts of things when I do recordings. I can sort of blur the lines, and I can hide things, and you never know that I've got my lines wrong and all the rest of it. And a cat's jumped through the window and all the rest of it. You'll never know that happened. When it's live and my internet drops out, you can see it. I was stunned, Adrian. Look stunned in that still. Honestly, the language you would have heard. It could be that the club got wind of me doing this and they wanted to silence me. You'll never silence me, Sullivan. You will never silence me. I won't go quietly. Oh God, could you imagine her with her foster tits? No, I did drop out, Joe. I did drop out. I do apologise. Daniela, hope you are well. So Potter was not my first choice, but I was going to give him the chance. But can we stop the negative crap and washing our dirty laundry out in public, as they say? What do you mean by that, Daniela? I'm not quite sure what you're alluding to there, and I'd be genuinely interested to know. I agree with the decision, but it's not the best timing, just 48. But exactly that. We've had 7 days to make this decision, and I think we're all agreed it's the right decision. It's the wrong time. They had the international break to do it. They had all this week to do it, unless there is someone in ASAP. Exactly what I'm saying. I wonder whether this has now come about because somebody has got a deal in place. And I reckon within the next 24 hours, we could be getting notification that we've got a new manager and this is who it is. My money would be on Nuno. I'm not saying that's who I would want, as I say, but I suspect that's who they're going to go for. I can't see it being Marco Silva. Now, Andy. I wasn't either, Sharky. And like I say, I was getting ready because I was absolutely certain. Like I say, I'd got the thumbnail. As I say, this is it. And it's, as you can see, Graham Potter's on there, must-win game. That was the thumbnail I was going to use for the recording of the match preview, which I'm going to record in about 27 minutes with my brother. And then this news broke. Absolutely unbelievable. Who knows? I think maybe Potter weaved a spell and he disappeared in a puff of smoke, Mark. I'm not sure. But he's no longer the West Ham manager. Exactly that, Dean. I mean, surprising, given that we've got to a week after the Palace game when most people thought that was that. And he's gone, having done most of the work on the training pitch. Shocking choice. The timing, excuse me. I think, like I say, the decision was inevitable, but why do it this late? It's an implement shamble. Happy he's gone, but why now? After the exactly, Jonathan. He did the press conference yesterday, and you kind of think when you do the press conference, surely you're not going to get sacked at that point. Do I really? Why, thank you. No, I wish. Timu internet. Yeah. It isn't actually. Bloody Sky. What a turn up for the book, says Daniel. Do you think they have anyone in mind, or will we kick the can down the road for the next 2 games at least? I don't know. I suspect that the deal has been done with his replacement, because I don't see any other reason. I don't see any other reason why you would pull the trigger now. Because you could have got rid of Graham Potter immediately after the Palace game and gone with the coaching staff of, like I say, Kevin Keane, Mark Robson, Mark Phillips, etc., etc. You could have done that 7 days ago, and they could have worked on how we were going to face Everton. If you were going to bring them in for 1 or 2 games as an interim whilst you had your negotiations, and just put Graham Potter and his staff out of their misery and gave them clarity that you're done. So I suspect that they must have the ink drying on a contract with Graham Potter's replacement. They must do. I don't understand why. If they haven't, why get rid of him? Nothing that I've seen yet. Nothing that I've seen yet. What I'm going to do? Let me just go back onto. No, that is still the latest news that's on the club website, which is now timed at 38 minutes ago. So there's no news on who's replaced him, not yet. So hang on a minute. There we go. Yeah, Hammer84 says Nuno. Yeah, I suspect that's going to be the next news piece that comes out. Should have fired him before this season. To be honest, he was never going to work. I don't know about before this season. I'm not too sure about that, Fremmer, but I think he was given the opportunity to get his ideas across in the summer. Whether he was backed, I guess, is a matter of opinion by Sullivan. What about McCauley? Well, if you look, he's basically followed Potter around all his career. Now, because he's the head of recruitment, I don't think it necessarily means that he's going to be jettisoned. And in fact, in that statement there, he's not mentioned. So I suspect that he's still in a job, and I suspect he will remain in a job. But what I suspect will happen, unless something happens in the interim, is that when Graham Potter finds himself re-employed by another club, I think you'll find Kyle McCauley will go at that point. Yeah, probably that, Dick. Probably someone cheap. No replacement mentioned, no interim mentioned. Nope, exactly that. As I say, that's still the last news piece on the website. Timing is what it is. He was never going to win the next 2 games. Yeah, but Fremer, as I say, he would have worked on the training ground in these intervening 7 days on how we're going to attack Everton, how we're going to defend against Everton. And now 2 days before the game, he's not there. And it just strikes me as really bizarre. Daniela comes back and says, it happened. We know it was on the cards. Now, take a breather, calm things down, even if just to take some pressure off the new manager and players. Yeah, fair enough. Daniel, I wonder if we'll get a result at Everton now. Yeah, been a few people that have said that. You can just copy and paste the news coach's head off the top of Potter, maybe face swap it. Do you think that's what the final straw was? Do you think that this meme, this face swap of all these different characters with Potter's face, do you think that Daniel Kretinsky and David Sullivan decided to pull the trigger because of that? I don't know. Probably not. Has anyone considered that Marco Silva, I'm guessing that is, privately already said no to us? That's why we're not going down that road. Possibly. Tyrell Gunner, hope you are well. You guys should have sacked him long ago. I completely agree, mate. I completely agree. I'm guessing you're obviously an Arsenal fan, and welcome along. Thanks for hopping by. 100% should have at least got rid of him after the Palace game. I mean, after the Tottenham game, there's an argument. After the Palace game, I think everybody that walked away from the ground after that just went, he's got to go. He's got to go. But he didn't. And like I say, 2 days before the game, he's done the press conference. He's done most of the work on the training pitch with the squad. And now we're getting rid of him. Let's say it's the right decision, Tyrell. I'll give you that. The timing's all wrong. I reckon we'll see the youth play against Everton. I don't think we will. I'd love to see it. Can't see, but I just don't think it happened. Daniela, if we announce a manager today, I understand the timing. Not a Nuno fan long term. And that's probably the only thing that I can make sense of the timing is that they've now got the replacement in place. That's really it's the only thing, if I think about it, the only explanation that makes any sense. Dad's Our Job, hope you are well, Gatesy. And if you guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, Dad's Our Job TV, please do. Says, can't believe it's happened now. It's 6 days too late. Exactly that. Daniel, so Gatesy, you reckon the ball will go against us protesting against preferred one-stop shop for players then? All things are possible, Daniel. I've given up trying to sort of work out the inner workings of David Sullivan, Daniel Katinsky, and all that lot a long time ago. Give my short-term option. Give me Bilic and friends. It could be an option, but I suspect it will be Nuno. In all honesty, and like I say, I think Thiago Motta would be a little bit of an out of the box, out of left field sort of choice. But like I say, I think his stature within football, it would garner him a little bit of respect. And like I say, I think with people like, and I mentioned Xavi as well, I think Xavi, Thiago Motta, I think with the sort of reputation they've got within football, they would walk into a dressing room and they would immediately command the respect of the players. I don't think Graham Potter is in that category. I think, like I say, there's certain people in life that when they walk into a room, they light it up. I think with Graham Potter, he would walk into a room and there would be no fundamental change. No one would even notice he was there. Gary O'Neill says Hammer 84. Charlie, hope you're well, mate. Glad the PE teacher is gone. But what batshit timing to leave him all week and even do the pre-match presser. The circus is well and truly in full swing. They clearly just didn't want to get rid of him until his replacement was confirmed. But what other club operates like that? Mental. It's us, Charlie. It's us. You knew that. Jeff, hi, mate. He seemed relaxed talking about head swaps. Did he know he was going? Weight lifted off his shoulders? Possibly. I think he knew that his time was short. And I think he thought he had the Everton game. I think he knew he was on his way, in all honesty, Jeff. But I think he thought he was going to be, because I think once you're sitting down and giving a press conference, I think you must be thinking, well, they're not going to get rid of me now. It's Friday. The game's on Monday. I'm probably on sure ground. But I think that there must have been conversations behind. I would be amazed if within the next 24 hours we don't have an announcement of who his replacement is. I would be absolutely astonished if we don't have it by the time the game kicks off against Everton, that there's not something that's come out. And whether that's by the club or whether that's by ITKs like such as XWHU employee or Hammers Chat or any other source that is worth listening to that says it hasn't been announced, but it will be this. I think it's already been arrived upon. I really do. Daniela, I think the new manager is 95% there. The last thing the club wanted was Potter to win Monday. Then you might as well have got rid of him after the game last week, Daniela. And this is where it doesn't make sense. Deitch. Oh, dear, oh dear. Daniela, what I mean is what happens on Facebook. Every story is a negative or maybe into negative suggestions. Player will leave if Potter goes. Yeah, I mean, look, social media, everybody's got an opinion, Daniela, and I'm quite happy to listen to people's opinions, and just even if their opinions I don't fundamentally agree with, I'll listen to it and go, okay, well, I don't agree with that. This is my take on it, and if we can be adults and just agree to disagree, that's fine. But social media, it can be a little bit of a bear pit. Twitter or X especially is just like horrendously bad. If memes this week are forced Potter out, maybe we should do memes of the board. That's a great idea. Fantastic. Nuno confirmed. Right. Okay. Now I am having stumbled across that. Let me go and just refresh. Let's go to the latest. Yeah, no, there's nothing from the club. Still nothing from the club. So Nuno's not officially been confirmed. So, but Charlie is saying X has basically confirmed it's Nuno. Right. Okay. Traction. Right. So with that, let me go on to X. I'm guessing it might be on Twitter or it could be on the Patreon page. I'm just going to have a little look on X because I've obviously been given the heads up that he's basically right. Okay, so XWHUM. Oh, hang on. Wait. There was something else that flashed up there. Oh, now according to this is as of 5 minutes ago. West Ham News and Views. Now he has. I've got no reason to believe it's bollocks. West Ham News and Views on X says head of recruitment Kyle McCauley has also been sacked by West Ham. Okay, that changes things from what I said earlier. So, yeah, interesting. So Kyle McCauley has also gone because Kyle McCauley stayed at Chelsea after Potter went and we had to buy him out of his contract. It cost us £1 million. That was why I was saying that I don't necessarily think that Kyle McCauley has to go because of what happened before. Let me have a look. No, there's nothing on his Twitter, so I'm guessing this must have been on his Patreon. As far as X has basically confirmed it's Nuno. Nuno will get us relegated. And I've turned around and said, in my opinion, I think he's just a Portuguese Moyes. So anybody that wanted Moyes out will probably not be too impressed at Nuno. I'm fairly confident Nuno will be announced later today. Yeah, exactly. I think it will be. I think it will be within the next 24 hours, Charlie. You think he'll be in the dugout? Maybe. We'll wait and see. Daniela says that Charlie's right. Yep, just come to that. So McCauley's gone. Steinberger's confirmed that. Crystal Palace was the one that did for Potter. Yeah, I think so. Budgie, hope you're well. New sub, new email. Wonderful. This is rather poor timing from the club, 100%, mate. It's the right decision at the wrong time. Don Carlo Ancelotti has had some problems in Brazil. Has he? Would he come to us, I wonder? I mean, he went to Everton, and I would say we're similar stature clubs. Would he come back to London? I ask myself. Have we the players to suit Nuno's counter-attacking style of football? Well, he's obviously looked at the squad we've got, Gary, and I think he must believe he can get a tune out of them. He must do, because otherwise, if he looked at the club, if he looked at the squad of players that we've got, and went, oh, that's not going to, the style of football I'm going to demand of my players, that's not going to work with those players. I think he wouldn't sign on the dotted line, would he? But we'll see how that pans out. I will say it could mean the end of James Ward-Prowse. I think probably he's fairly likely because let's remember, who was it that had James Ward-Prowse on loan at Forest and then after a few games went, he's not for me, Nuno. So I don't think he's going to last too much longer. Daniel is asking Epic if that's right. Budgie says, going round the channel, subbing. See you all soon. No worries, Budgie. Hope you're well. Morning, fella. Nuno is coming in. I think we should go for an intern manager like Noble. Then we'll go for Xabi, I say. Yep, fair enough. Hammers Chat has announced it's Nuno. Right, well, there we go. Movement, it looks like it's going to be Nuno Espirito Santo. So I'm going to have to, what I'll probably have to do then, so this was going to be the thumbnail. So I'm going to have to replace Potter with Nuno, aren't I? And I'm going to have to change that must-win game because that would probably be a bit harsh for it to be his must-win game when he's been in the club for a matter of 2 days. Probably a bit harsh. Did he depart the club by mutual consent? Well, look, you can see the statement there. I think that it was probably Potter knew that it was turning a little bit nasty against him and probably he needed to go. The results didn't justify him staying. I think he's realised. He alluded to it in the press conference that he knows that it's a results-based game and they haven't been good enough. And ultimately, the first person, whatever you want to sort of point at, injuries, players' loss of form, ill discipline, whatever. Ultimately, when the results start to go south, it's the manager that pays. So, to be fair, if Nuno is the new Moyes did quite well for us in the beginning, didn't he? He did, but let's also recognise that there was a lot of fans that wanted Moyes out, despite the success he brought. And look, everybody's got an opinion on that, and there are some people that still are adamant that Moyes had to go. There are still some people that believe he should have stayed, and everything in between. And like I say, it's a matter of opinions. Bring back Sam Allardyce, yeah, okay, or Sean Dyche. Yeah, my neck would start to hurt at that point. What we got? My fear with Nuno is he doesn't seem to be a long-term manager. His record is he doesn't stay at clubs when he has to step up to the next level. Daniela, what is the average tenure of a Premier League manager? I believe it's 18 months, and our last two managers have not lasted anywhere near that. You know, you look at Julian Lopetegui. Well, how long did he last? So he came in July, and he probably lasted, what is that, 6-7 months? Potter's lasted 8, 9. Scary. James Ward-Prowse. No, don't even go there, Barry. Don't even go there. Well, at least he's not going to turn heads to not protest against the board. At least clouds and silver linings. Yeah, I suppose so, Daniel. Gary says Potter was part of our problem. Now, what about Brady and Sullivan? Well, we're just going to have to keep doing what we're doing, Gary. We're just going to have to keep doing this. Doesn't, as far as the protests are concerned, this changes nothing as far as I'm concerned. Nuno is the reason why my team, Wolves, is in the Premier League. We got Spurs away today. Come on, you Wolves. Ah, you're a Wolves. I was looking at your what's name, and I was trying to work out what was the shirt. Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's one of the grounds I've not been to yet, mate. Would like to go and experience the atmosphere. I've been people have given me their opinions on it, but I'd always like to sample it for myself. But thanks for popping along. Don't forget to subscribe and like the stream. Fremmer, I think the focus has changed from managers to owners. The bar is really low for how the new manager does. Okay, right. It's 11:23. I did say to my brother I was going to record the match preview for the game. Oh, cheers. You are an absolute gem. I really do appreciate you. Look, we're a West Ham fan YouTube channel. It's fairly obvious that that's the case, but I don't mind fans of other clubs coming on and jumping in and conversing. Come one, come all. We're all part of the football family, right? That's the way it works. Right, so I'm going to disappear now. But Graham Potter is history. Graham Potter is now a footnote in the managerial tapestry of our great club. Who comes next? It's believed to be Nuno. It's yet to be confirmed by the club, but there are people that are pretty heavily connected to the club, such as Hammers Chat, such as HWHU employee, that are saying that the next cab off the rank is the former Nottingham Forest, the former Tottenham Hotspur, the former Wolverhampton Wanderers manager, Nuno Espirito Santo. Are you happy with that? Are you not happy? Anyway, I'm going to disappear. As I say, this was rather impromptu. I haven't got a thumbnail made up for this. It was literally, he's gone. I need to do this because this is breaking news. And I was sat at my computer anyway. So I do apologise for me internet crashing in the middle of this. It probably gave you a little bit of a humorous interlude. Please don't forget to drop a like on the stream. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. Maybe share this onto your social media platforms. And if you do have one of your free hypes available, chuck that into the pot. And I'm going to go and record the preview, which I'm now going to have to rip up the script completely for that. Thanks for that. Anyway, stay safe, guys. Come on, you Irons.